My name is Emily Portalski, and I am a busy mom of 3 young, beautiful, amazing, energetic children. We were fortunate enough to not have to require daycare to work very early on in our children's lives. Once we did start using child care centers, they were all accommodating to special needs. We used the Royal Oak Public School System. He also attended swimming lessons at Goldfish Swim School, and all the places we've gone have been very accommodating. I'm not aware of any legislation that is in practice now, but I think that some legislation for mothers, parents with children, young children that need child care that have special needs, I think creating legislation would be really simple. One of the first things that clued me into the fact that I might have a child with some delays or some special needs is when he was around his peers, that's when I finally realized that it was different. If I would have known sooner, if I would have had someone to tell me, something to show me that these milestones aren't being met at an appropriate time, I think I could have intervened sooner, and I think it could have been a lot more beneficial. My youngest child has missed a few milestones, so her pediatrician put me in contact with a program called Early On, which does early intervention with delays, gross motor delays and fine motor delays. They come to my home. They evaluated her. They come here twice a week for an hour at a time and help her reach those goals to get her on par with her age group. My son never had that. So something happened between him being 1 year old and not reaching milestones to my 2-year-old being 1 year old and not reaching milestones. And something's been put in place, and it's called an Ages and Stages questionnaire.
Okay.
You get that at your pediatrician's office at their annual checkup, and as a parent you have to answer it honestly, and then you'll be able to have some answers and some resources on how you can help get them to where they should be. When you have your first and all these things are happening, it's really challenging to navigate what should be happening, what is actually happening, and who do you call, who do you ask, what are the resources. It was a challenge. It was manageable, but it could have been easier, and it's easier now because I've already been through it.
Right.
And I think that early intervention is the key. I mean, if you see your child not reaching milestones when they should be, don't worry, but don't wait. Call someone, talk to the school, just find a resource that can help you. Your pediatrician, I think, is probably the first easiest step. I think it would be something as simple as sending a pamphlet, a brochure, a one-sheet checklist to new parents once a month, once every 12 weeks, saying, this is what your child should be doing. If they're not, don't worry, but don't wait. Call this number. Here's a list of resources to help you find someone that can give you early intervention into occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy if that's necessary, some type of resource in your community that's cost-free that you know how to get in touch with. Finding the people that can help you and finding the people that can tell you what you need to do is the biggest challenge. Not knowing who to call, not knowing what to ask, was the hardest part. And unfortunately, he was the litmus test. The other ones have it. I have it so much easier now with the other ones because I've experienced all of it, but if I would have had a couple more resources given to me earlier on, I think it would have been a lot easier for me. I reached out to my friends and family and asked for help, which I didn't do for a very, very long time. I thought if you were a mom and you asked for help, that made you a bad mom. So I didn't do it for a long time. And then I did, and now I can't stop. Asking for help is the greatest thing ever because people really do want to help you, and I help other people, and it's given me this opportunity to have a community of mothers that we all help each other. And it started because I asked for help, and it felt uncomfortable at the time, but I don't regret doing it. I only regret not doing it sooner.
Right.
So putting yourself out there and trying to create a community of moms, women around you to support you and help you, make you feel like you're not alone and that you're not crazy, but if you are crazy, it's okay to be crazy. Just creating that community around myself by just putting myself out there and asking for help is what really got me to this point where I feel comfortable, safe, and like on the right track. But when we started in the school system in our district that we're in now, there's this group of like 5 or 7 moms, all from Xander's classmates, moms, and over the last 3 years we've become super tight, really close, really supportive, and the principal of the school has said that the level of community and parent involvement hasn't been this good the whole time he's been at that school, like the last 8 years. So I feel really excited to be part of that community of women and mothers that are involved with their children, involved with school, involved with the other parents. It's incredible. Finding affordable, quality, I guess, mental health care for a child is really challenging. Pediatric psychiatry and pediatric psychology, pediatric neurology, it's all very specialized. So there's always a ton of phone calls, needing referrals, being on the phone for 20 minutes and still not getting an appointment, getting the appointment and getting to it and being there all freaking day. Like, it's just a lot. It would be a lot easier if the system wasn't so challenging. It's manageable, but it's just a challenge to navigate all of the stuff you have to do just to get help for your child. Have a good relationship with your child's pediatrician. Have a good relationship with them and trust them and value what they have to say, because they're a really good resource. If you don't like them, if you don't like the office, go somewhere else, because you need to call them all the time for anything. They have to tell you what your best option is. If you're in a school district that doesn't have this automatic support system that the one I'm in does, advocate for it. Ask for it. Tell them they need it, because they should have it. There's something called an IEP, an Individualized Education Plan. That's a statewide requirement. All schools need to have that. And if they don't, there is something called school of choice. Go to a different school, because that's what got my son to where he is now. He would be so much farther behind if they didn't offer these programs to me and if I didn't stay on top of them to keep them going.